Hey everybody, so it's time for me to do my recap from the Splinterlands Town Hall from this week. I'm really going to try to get back on track to doing this on Monday, and there's a new person on Hive, a post that you should check out, because while I do a video about this, they post it very quickly if you want to do a quick scan of it. But I'm also going to add a little bit more opinion into my post about the town halls, and whether or not I think the overall tone of the company is good as bad and things like that. Also, maybe because Aftersound is so fast about his 5 takeaways, I can look at those videos and give you a little bit of my kind of feelings on what he was talking about. And it's kind of weird because he got kind of bullish on time frames, and I'm like, wow, he got bullish on time frames, bearish, and I got super bullish overall on everything that's going on in the world of Splinterlands right now. Now, this is RosieW that Aftersound introduced to me, does a immediate kind of recap of everything in the town hall, and so it's a great place for me to go to kind of get a reminder of what was going on, and at the same time it's a fun place where you can come, give a vote, support it, and really kind of talk about what's going on see what's going on in the town hall without necessarily having to get our opinions on it or what we feel good or bad, and then you could do it yourself. So one of the reasons why this one was so fun for me is because I was there. I was live at first when it first started. I had to kind of bow out before the questionings and watch that later on. But I got a shout out from Aggro, and that was super cool. If you listen to it, he said, he was talking about like, wow, we've been around since 2018. It's been 5 years. He thinks he deserves like something, and I'm like, hey, you want 5-year airdrops? I'm in on that, man, because I've been here for 5 years too. And he called me out as a little shout out for me because I have been around for that long. And then I got a double call out when I asked an important question, and Hardpoint was like, oh yeah, we're doing shout outs to Steve. I'll do one too because he's reminding us to talk about the fact that for the Riftwatchers airdrop there is going to be a promo card, and that's something that they weren't really mentioning when they were talking about Riftwatchers. Really, this one was kind of a more normal town hall after the Genesis League announcement just kind of blew up on us, really started to bring in the fact that Splinterlands is going to branch out, become a multi kind of game ecosystem. I compared them now to the Gala Games ecosystem, but instead of trying to make top tier AAA hard to play games, that Gala is having a very hard time getting anything playable with a workable economy, to taking the fact that Splinterlands has a very workable economy and a simplistic idea of how to make a game where it's really centered around very quick auto battle matches, but that take a lot of strategy. So it's like almost playing speed chess over and over and over again. Not quite as complex, but with a level of complexity, an understanding of rules, a memorization of all the different cards and their abilities. So it has that kind of a feel to it. Now they're going to bring it into Genesis Soccer. And so that's one of the things they pointed out in this town hall. And to me, that's super bullish, because when you look at the kind of idea of stuff like that, it's if you can recreate that kind of quick loop and that fun play, and at the same time have it be rewarding and people can earn actual money playing it, I think Genesis Sports League has a good chance going forward. So that was something they only touched on a little bit in this town hall, because to be honest, this is the Splinterlands town hall, and they might need to start doing a Genesis League Sports town hall, but that'll probably be something they think about starting to do after Genesis Sports League actually has its white paper and we find out everything that goes on. Now, Hardpoint did drop this image into there, and they talked a little bit more about the roadmap, and he said that this one is not the updated one when it comes to the percentages, and I didn't go dig that one up because it was just here. This is simpler. He was basically talking about the fact that they're getting pretty close on techno modernization. They're getting much closer on Riftwatchers. They're getting a lot closer on the ranked rewards changes, but those are the 3 things that we're going to see come into the game in the near future. So the ranked rewards update, they did talk about that first because that's the next thing they're planning to roll out. It could be rolling out sometime within September, early September, or the later part of this month. Aggro seemed to want it done by the end of this month, and Hardpoint pushed back a little bit that it might be a little bit longer. And so that's just one of those things where it looks like, yeah, you probably lean towards Hardpoint state, and this will happen in early September. Now, one of the exciting things that people don't necessarily realize guys, when we switch over to earning SPS, is they did confirm that when it first goes live, you will not have to have SPS staked, and that'll happen probably a month to 2 months later. So you'll have a chance to just earn SPS, and that SPS will become staked, and then you can leave it staked or you can unstake it depending on what you want to do. But that's going to be up to you. Now the ecosystem as a whole is doing pretty good, because in my mind it's going to do something that Aggro brought up and a lot of people kind of didn't allude to. But now that we have a set amount of SPS that's coming into the game, it has a current value at the amount of SPS of around $560,000. That is actually almost doubling the amount of money that is being given out into the rewards, even though they give out a lot more DEC, because the DEC peg is all messed up. This also will end the DEC inflation down to only what's coming out of the liquidity pools and liquidity farmers, and a few other things like card burn mechanisms. So that changes the whole ecosystem of Splinterlands to that very bullish future I told you about, where you might have a situation where you have a lot of people eventually having to use their DEC for upgrading buildings, for just buying cards, not thinking about it, going into liquidity pools if that's what they've been doing with their tokens, and eventually we should head back up towards peg because of the amount of issuance just starting to disappear, and people actually having to go out to the marketplace to buy it, to upgrade land buildings, to upgrade all kinds of other things. Now that this could be very far off in the future that we get there, but we all want to be in a situation where people will be burning SPS to creating DEC, because it creates that burn mechanism, and then we create, hopefully it's got a very good circular rotation for the next couple of years, because no matter what, they're giving out the same amount of SPS, but SPS is at 7 cents. If SPS goes up into a quarter, well, then the amount they're giving out goes from $560,000 to $1.5 million of rewards going out each month for play. And so you see how if the whole ecosystem can become more valuable, one hand helps the other, and that's what they're really good at designing in this Splinterlands ecosystem. Because if we get that place where we're at even 15% SPS, and people start to say, wow, Splinterlands is giving out $1 million worth of SPS for people just playing their game every month, well, I've got to get over there and I've got to play, and the bots will start coming back because now they're farming SPS instead of this. But then they have to have cards now, because you can't farm with ghost cards, so and you can't rent for 1 day, you have to rent for 2 days, and the whole ecosystem could start to ramp up when it comes to the amount of people that want to play the game and the amount of DEC that's getting sent around and moved into different stuff, and that's the perfect storm for us to start to see the whole ecosystem go up. Then over time, if we get to a place where SPS is getting burned and SPS is getting more and more and more valuable, then for the time that they have the SPS built into the battle rewards at this certain set amount, which is going to be 5 years, it's just about to start, but it's supposed to last for 5 years, this distribution, then you're talking about, wow, that is just pretty wild. Now, land is one of those kind of controversial things, and they did talk about the fact, even Aggro said, you want to call us out for land, call us out for land. I don't think a lot of people really yell at them that much about land, because people who bought land have been very handsomely rewarded. I got a lot of SPS airdropped to me. I had those titles given to me that were given lots of points for the airdrop. I got tons and tons and tons of SPS. I had an opportunity already to sell my lands up in the $800 range, so I sold some individual plots there. I always held on to my 2 tracks, because those are my 2 tracks for when land is out and playable. They are still worth way more money than I paid for them. So you have an asset that has already paid me back money while going up probably about a 5 or 6x even at current prices, and it's like, whatever, guys, when land gets here, I'm gonna be happy. The only reason I'm impatient for it is because I feel like they're releasing these massive card sets so that there's going to be enough cards in the ecosystem to support the land ecosystem they're building. But we've reached this kind of spot where like half of those cards are going to be out there in the world, and their prices are way low because the land isn't here yet for them to work. Like, if right now, with only half of Chaos Legion sold out, if we had land fully functioning and I needed, hundreds of monsters to go work my 200 plots of land, and I wanted them all to be at least like level 4 or level 6 in the gold level. There'd be some magic sauce cost to earnings that would be figured out. That would still be a ton of cards that would not be in the rental ecosystem, would not be in the market ecosystem, and would instead be in the land ecosystem. And the game might be a little bit more fun because we'd have the equipment cards and the spell cards, and that kind of stuff has always been promised as the next kind of thing that's going to spice up the game. So this is something that I do say they deserve criticism on, because if they had pulled this off now, I don't think we'd have this lull in the market. But I think you're getting this lull in the market because they messed up. So those of you who are buying cheap cards right now, are amassing more and more and more cards, I think you're going to be very happy that they had that delay on land. So I'll just take that from there. As you can see, I have a very different feeling on a lot of this than some other people. Riftwatchers, they talked about the fact that that's going to be coming out, and it does look like there's going to be some sales. But not probably until later on. Let me see if I can find in here where they talked about that. Yeah, Riftwatchers. So one of the big things they harped on, the art is a lot better. We had some, I think we all agree with that. We had another monster dropped in the eye candy. I'll show you in a little bit. That just looks pretty amazing. They talked a little bit about the fact overall in this that there could be possibly 2 vouchers needed during the pre-sale, that there would be the pre-sale, that we are going to get the promo card. And so but they made it seem like that it's still going to be maybe an additional week or so before they can really get into that. Overall, it did feel like, a lot of these pieces that are going to be coming out would be coming out later. The SPS validators, I think, are going to be delayed a little bit more, but they didn't announce whether or not the SPS earnings would be delayed. And I think without Matt there, they couldn't answer that question. But Matt has pretty much said that whether or not the SPS validator licenses are running, that by the end of the August, SPS rewards would start going out. So I do expect us to start getting our rewards, whether or not we have to start running a server anywhere by the end of this month. And I think when the next time Matt's back, he'll be able to clarify those kind of things, because he's really the driving force behind that. They asked Aggro to talk, asked, Hardpoint at one point what he's most hyped about. And in a great FOMO setup, Hardpoint goes, well, I can't talk about the things I'm most hyped about. So that's like alluding to that there's even bigger things in the pipe than Genesis Sports League. So good job, Hardpoint. We might have to give you a new chief FOMO officer. That made things pretty exciting for us. In my mind, because there's just so many good things going on that I don't know what else we could get into. They did leak out again that the Splinterlands arcade game, and I think we all knew this, is going to be a tower defense game, but Hardpoint did say that it's not fully approved yet. So hopefully we'll get some clarity on if that's going to be coming out, because I think a lot of us were looking for another game that we could use, because the word is on that game is that our assets would be able to be used to go play that game. So it just makes your assets have a whole nother way of earning things. When we get into the creative department, we had some cool eye candy around Riftwatchers dropped. This is what a Rift pack is actually going to look like, and the animation for opening this is supposed to be really cool. This is the logo they made for Riftwatchers, so that one's pretty cool. He also gave us the background without it, and like I said, we got one of the cards coming out. And I mean, this is just, when you compare it like this, we'll go into the game really quick, right? Sorry, I had that guy up. And then we go look. Back in the day, a powerful death card was the Haunted Spirit. And so we went from this, all right, this is a Haunted Spirit, to that is one of the new powerful death ghouls from the Riftwatcher set. Now, I don't know how powerful a card he will be. I don't know if he'll be as dominant as the Haunted Spirit actually was for the time that he came out, but it was pretty crazy. I want to just go back up and talk for just a moment longer about the non-card market. Oh, sorry about that, guys. When we were looking at this, and I told you that basically ranked rewards were coming next. That's super big because when SPS comes in, it's a different token than DEC. It has outside factors working on its value, and it's just a chance that it could drive more people into the game because we're going to be making more money for playing. when it comes to the land and the non-card market, and the fact that they're working that out, I think this is probably one of the big things that people underestimate how important this is. Right now, a lot of players who come into the game and who want to join the game, they can't buy any of the older stuff without learning how to get a Hive Engine wallet, how to set up the wallet, how to put Hive on it, how to move items to tribal decks, how to sell them over there, how to understand that market. That is means that you have to have some understanding in crypto. Once the non-card market is there, and I can list my packs that I'm trying to sell to anybody who's on the Splinterlands site, that means that in my mind, all of the assets could get a small boost because you don't have to go third party to buy them. And a lot of people will pay a little bit more for something if they don't have to go jump through hoops. This is one of the reasons why Amazon is so damn popular. So them getting themselves into a situation where people don't have to go jump through hoops if they want to buy a title, a land, just any of the totems, all of the different items within the game just become so much more tradable. And this is also going to make it so that once we actually claim our lands, which is one of the first things we're going to do, is claim them and then flip them and see how many legendaries we got, how many epics, if you got keeps, if you got castles, if you have tracks and stuff like that. You'll have a marketplace where you can go and sell those immediately, so that you can, maybe you can go ahead and see where that market is, and you can actually go out and buy lands that'll actually be able to produce something. So there'll be a whole nother game of speculation going on before the actual land thing is really working. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to see those kind of things come into feel. Now I know phase 1 is when that has to happen, and we're still looking at sometime in Q4. And one of the things Aftersound said is he made it seem like, so we're not going to have land phase 1 until after Splinterfest. But I mean, they were always in Q4. I still think that we will hopefully before then we'll have kind of the non-card market out and the ability to buy and sell land plots and track plots and totems and titles and all of those things within the game up and working. And hopefully we'll be able to see that people can use credits to buy those things, because that's the big change. Because a lot of people who use PayPal and buy credits, they can't really go buy those items as easily. It's not easy at all. So that's kind of the big thing that I'm looking for. Then we'll get the reveal, and then the market will be ready for that next part. They did hint that at Splinterfest they would give us a lot more info on land, and so because of that, there's a feel now that we won't get land until after October. I kind of wasn't expecting it till then, so I'm okay with that in general. Now we'll get down to one of the more spicy things that happened, and we have to go all the way down here to where Weird Beard announced that we are officially getting ghost tournaments. And I think I'm going to do a full video on the idea of ghost tournaments and what tournaments can be, so I can kind of tell you in a quick 20-minute video everything that I think this could be, because Rogue put out a tweet. He said this could be the bigger than Genesis Sports Soccer League, and he's absolutely right. Ghost tournament, or as we've been calling them, or just tournaments where I can say, hey, anybody can come and play. We're all going to play at level 6. We're all going to get gold level cards with all the cards, but no legendary cards. And we're going to see who's the best player without legendary cards with level 6 cards in Chaos Legion only. Ready, go. And then I throw a prize on that tournament, and everybody can come and play. And now everybody in the game can come and play these tournaments, whether or not you're a silver player, a champion player, a bronze player, a novice. Everyone can come in and play in these and have the exact same cards, and it will come down to pure skill as to who is good. Now, these are the kind of tournaments we're going to be playing at Splinterfest when I'm there, and so it's going to be kind of exciting, because I still feel like sometimes when I play in the normal champions, I get crushed by certain summoners that I don't have, and I'm only missing a couple. It must be way worse for a lot of other people. So these are very excited. But the main thing the reason why this could be so huge, just a quick little comment, is because now they can start to get big sponsorship deals with big prizes. Nobody's going to give away a car for a prize on a tournament if they think that it's possible for 800 bots to come in and steal that. So this will allow them to set up KYC tournaments for major prizes where it's a level playing field, so the sponsors can feel like things are really good. People who are sponsoring things don't really like a big pay to win ecosystem. They did say from the Splinterlands side of Point, they would always have their biggest tournaments be like the League of Champion tournaments, so that the people who have spent the money with the best cards get to win the biggest prizes they give out. But that doesn't mean they'll be the biggest prizes in the whole game, because I do think with the right kind of partnerships and the right kind of stuff going on with this other side of the tournament house, we could see some very, very big things happen. And so that's pretty exciting. Bulldog came in. He really talked about a couple like community-driven efforts, things that would be nice to have but probably aren't going to get worked on anytime soon. They talked about some abilities, like a lot of people are worried about this automatic staking of SPS and it being problematic for them to be able to get the money they need to keep renting. But since you're going to have 2 months to play where you don't need staked SPS to earn, you should have enough time to earn some, unstake some, leave some staked, and be ready for once staking is needed. And there'll be lots of announcements about that to help you prepare. They were talking about card pools for guilds, and that would be something that would be kind of interesting. Somebody like me could start a guild, and I could take all my extra cards and put them in a pool, and then I could let other people come in and just, if they needed a card, just request it, grab it, and play with it. Would be cool. They didn't seem to say like they were going to make that or anything. They did talk a little bit about how the other thing we can yell at them is they never did do boss fights, and Aggro still wants boss fights in. Just like I talked about in the past, I said if boss fights came in, they would be a guild building. You would have to update the guild building every time you beat a boss to get the next boss, and Aggro said that exact same thing. It's not hard to see that at all, and that would be another DEC sync, so it would be nice if they could work that in, but they'd have to decide what they're going to get and what kind of prizes people would get, and it probably would be another thing to help rate who's the best guild, who is farthest along in the boss fight ecosystem. We met a few new people. There was a sport person con. This was the funny part of the call if you listen to it, because Aggro kept doing the Star Trek con. I didn't want to yell loud like he didn't hurt anybody's ears, but it was actually pretty funny. We got to meet Dorian and his wife. Our team Dorian, which is a wife combo that write the lore, and they're big writers for it, and they've written novels and things like that. So that was an interesting interview, but it was just kind of fun. We got a really cool wallpaper of some of the different characters from the lore series. I don't even know who all of these people are. I recognize these two from the stories, but I don't remember their names because I'm terrible. But I'll have to go check them out again and try to see if I can remember everyone who's in this poster. If you know them all, let me know. We had a nice little part with Splinterlands TV. I got my second day on Splinterlands TV. I now do Wednesday nights 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday mornings 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I could only get a 1 hour slot there, so that makes it so that I'll be on 3 hours now on Splinterlands TV. Wednesday nights will still probably be the same format, where the first day I just go over kind of news, hot takes, things that are going on. I give away random packs, and then I go ahead and accept challenges so you can win cards from me if you on the spin of the wheel. I'm working on what to do on the Sunday morning show. It's only 1 hour. Doing battles might be kind of hard. Doing battles even in the future might be kind of hard as the channel gets more popular, because there's too many battles for you to get through. But that's a good problem to have. And I know that we're all just having a ton of fun. And thank you for those of you who come and support us and watch us on Twitch. During the preset questions, there was nothing that came out that was kind of crazy. You can read through these if you want to, but there was nothing that was like definitive or came out that was kind of crazy. The one thing they said was that maybe Riftwatchers could take two vouchers instead of one. I don't see that happening, but if it does, then I need a little bit more vouchers. So I guess that would pump the market a tiny bit. All right, let's go ahead and end this with my wheel spin, and we'll give away the 2000 DEC. I didn't do a shuffle this time. I usually shuffle, but this time we'll leave it just straight spin. Ooh, Cots Carlo is going to come through with the win there. Thank you, sir, for checking out my post. Again, I will post this video up on my blog like I did this one here. And if you put a comment on the video that at least makes some sense of that, maybe you watch the video and doesn't seem like a straight bot response, you get your name on the wheel. And I will be giving away another 2000 DEC. It will be interesting when I can't get DEC for playing the game anymore. What might I have to start giving away? Well, we'll think about it when that happens. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you later.